Hello and welcome to Get More Happy. We invite you to journey with us as we find ways, big and small, to get more happy in your life.
Hi, Elena.
Hi, Lisa.
How are you?
I'm good. Today's topic is going to be, I said it so perfectly,
You said it
like
so
3 seconds
perfectly.
ago. Let's be there for each
Each
other.
other.
Let's watch out for each other.
Yeah.
Let's watch out for each other.
And-
Let's look out for each other.
And the reason we came up with this topic is we are at the beginning in the United States of America of the coronavirus coming to our country. And so, although there's not a whole lot of cases right now, they're expecting a whole lot more. So they're the CDC is kind of giving us some ideas of things to do. And we just wanted to kind of talk about how we can be there for each other in a multitude of ways as we possibly walk through this as communities.
Right. So first of all, my kids, it's interesting because I talk to them. They've been asking me a lot of questions. So this week things just went insane.
Yeah.
I mean, just this
People.
week. So last week, honestly, we did a whole topic that it's on YouTube, but we never aired it on Get More Happy.
Right.
Because it was at the very beginnings of it, and we were like, "What's going on?" You know, and we were talking about fear. But then things took another turn. And so we felt like that could be seen as being a little flippant.
Insensitive.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, but my kids keep talking to me and they're like, well, what happens when this happens? And what happens when that happens? And I have to tell them, we've never been through this.
Right. This is all new.
So in just this past week, it was the cases, and now there's more cases, and then we're stopping travel, and then it was no people over 250, no,
NBA, MLB,
and all of the
them.
sports,
They're gone.
all of the sports. Now all of a sudden, just like it was one day, my daughter who goes to college got a notice saying spring break will be extended by 2 days, and that's so that we can prepare to go online if we need to. The very next day, it was online classes for the whole rest of the semester.
And every university is
In every university,
Yeah.
right. So she is going back. The dorms are open, and she is going to go back until they tell her she shouldn't go back,
Right,
and she's
right.
going to, she'll probably get more studying there than she would here anyway,
True.
and study groups and things like that. And one of her reasons for going back is to be with people,
Yeah.
So things have just drastically changed. What's the terminology they're using is social distancing.
Mm-hmm.
And we realized that isolates a lot of people.
Right.
And
I'm really for this. I'm very happy that our pastor made this decision, but we go to a huge church, and at first they were trying to give everybody techniques to not touch each other and all this stuff. And then finally the CDC was like, if you have huge churches, you need to really help your congregation be safe. So our church is doing online church only until the CDC releases whatever.
Exactly.
But it's like every social thing. So businesses are sending people home. So we're all going to be a little isolated, a little stressed because we're not used to everybody working from home.
Exactly. And our outlets, our time where we get to be with people, where we get to socialize is now limited. And so we wanted to talk a little bit about what we can do to be there for each other.
Yeah.
So first of all, we are all stressed, and there are a lot of people out there who are afraid. And it's kind of sad because there are a lot of people who are very, very afraid rationally. There are a lot of people who are very afraid irrationally.
Right.
The hoarding and all of that, right? Our local grocery store had to limit their hours. Yeah, because people have gone. And so they're like, please leave something for your neighbor. We actually are stocking every day. We promise we're not out of food.
Right.
So we have the people doing that. And some people, I'm not saying that's wrong either. Some people are like, I want to get out.
I heard the funniest story. So I'm with you on the whole hoarding thing. I'm like, please, people, please. But Hannah's friend, I forgot about situations like this. The mom and dad have been kidless. They have 6 kids that are all in college. How that works, I don't really know, but they've all, it's usually the mom and dad at home, so they have food for 2 people.
Now they need
Now all of a
6
sudden,
people.
6 people, which include 4 boys.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
Yeah. And, and then there's also people who are immune suppressed, and maybe they're like, okay, let me go now and buy everything that I need
because
for a couple
I really
months,
can't go
so
out.
I can't go back out.
Yeah.
So, okay, so this is exactly what I'm saying. We have people rationally afraid, we have people irrationally afraid, and then we have people making fun of people who are afraid.
Yeah.
And no matter where you fall into that, because I'm guilty of it too. I'm guilty of saying, well, that's ridiculous. I can't believe blah, blah, blah,
Yeah,
blah,
yeah, yeah.
right? I mean, I'm totally guilty of that. And then you hear those stories, you know,
Right.
you hear the people who are like, okay, well, I really am afraid to go back out. And so
Yeah.
I'm getting everything now to you know, so how can we be kind to each other? How can we look out for each other? How can we maintain social contact? Because they're, you know, really and truly the age group that this virus is most fatal to.
Yeah, is 80 and up.
Yeah.
70 and up, 80 and up.
I think it jumps at 70. I think it
Okay.
jumps at 60, and then it jumps at 70, and
Okay.
then 80s, you know, really bad. So we're already talking about people who maybe don't have a lot of technological skills. They might.
They
I don't know.
might.
I mean, they might, but not all of them.
Right, right, right.
They already might be people who aren't doing as many social activities. Again, varies by person.
Right.
You know, but so what can we do? So one thing that I was talking about with my daughter, the one in college, just got this fabulous, wonderful, you know, she's going to be a counselor for the incoming freshman next year.
Mhm.
And it's such a huge, you know, deal. It was a huge, there were a lot of kids that tried out for it. It was like this major deal. And she just found out like 2 weeks ago.
And now she's like,
And then it was immediately, she didn't realize how social it was, which she loves. She's thriving.
right.
So she's like, oh, and we're going to get a texting buddy every week, and we're going to get a lunch buddy every week, and we're going to do these activities and these activities. And just like spring break was just on such a high. I'm going to have all these new friends. It's going to be the best thing ever. And then,
Boom.
yeah. So we were talking, and I said, you know, it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
First of all, most of the kids that got this position are like you as well, who they want that social contact, right? So let's say your texting buddy, that's a texting buddy, that's easy.
Yeah, that's easy.
You know, a lot of her friends are going back to campus as long as they let them. But what if it's a lunch buddy, and your lunch buddy moved back to Ohio?
Well,
And I was like, why can't you FaceTime them?
yeah, and that's the thing, because even in business,
Shoot, she FaceTimes me every day for lunch.
I know, the kids are always on video. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. That is really nice for people who are using technology. There's all sorts of video chats, video conferencing. You can do it with multiple people. Like, it doesn't just have to be one-on-one.
Exactly. It's kind of funny though if you have multiple people.
Why?
Have you ever done this?
Yeah, for work.
Okay, so on FaceTime on iPhones.
no.
Okay. FaceTime on iPhones, you do multiple videos and everybody's talking at a different yeah. We do it for birthdays.
Okay.
And so we're all singing happy birthday and it's like all over the place. It's kind of fun. But so one thing that you could do is if you have a neighbor who is maybe a little bit more isolated, an older neighbor who's a little bit more isolated, maybe spend some time teaching them how to FaceTime.
Yeah, that's true. So my grandmother,
It's
who's
like super
90,
easy. Push a button.
Yeah. My grandmother, who's 93, she's about to be 94. She lives alone. She's still independent. My cousin lives a block away, and my uncle lives a block away. So her family's right there, but she lives alone. And right now, she doesn't want any visitors at all because she's very afraid of the germs coming into her house. And she's not going to church because they don't want elderly people to get sick. But she does know how to do chatting, texting. She is on Facebook, so that helps keep her connected.
That is another way. That's another way.
And then all the cousins have stepped up because we all like to write her letters, but we do it a few times a year. Well, now we're really doing it to just let her know it's just about your day or whatever.
Exactly.
But it's like another way because the phone is really hard with her because she can't hear well. Even with the hearing aids, she can't hear you very well on the phone.
So FaceTime wouldn't be a good option for her.
Maybe not. I'm not sure if I don't really know because we haven't tried it with her yet.
Okay.
But, you know, even if you have an elderly person that you could go sit out on their back porch,
Yeah.
as long as you don't have any germs, you know?
Exactly. That's great too. You know, if you can go visit somebody, you know, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I would like to see the churches maybe setting that up. You know, I would hope that the churches
I'm sure they will
start setting that up. You know, I think a lot of, you know, we're talking about older people, but do you remember what it was like when you were a young mother?
Oh God, you felt so isolated.
And all you had to do, I mean, like you had to have those play groups or else you would go insane.
You would go insane.
So, you know, if you have a friend who has young children, you know, my neighborhood, every neighborhood has this, but on Facebook we have a Buy Nothing group.
Yeah.
And so a lot of them, I've seen them talking about like if you, you know, my kids are home now, you know, or, you know, preschool shut down, or I don't want to send my kid to preschool or whatever. Yeah. So like if we want to get together, you know, and then it's just like a couple of kids instead of like a huge mass.
Yeah, exactly.
So I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, obviously.
And even like
even a FaceTime video over coffee while your kid is still sleeping and napping, you know.
Or like church. You know, if you're not going to your church right now, you could, if you have other people in your neighborhood that go to your church, you could, if you want, sit in somebody's living room and watch the church together.
That's a good idea. That's a really good idea.
Just to get some social interaction.
Mm-hmm. So I think that is going to be a huge thing, is maintaining social interaction.
Yeah, for your mental health.
For your mental health, absolutely. I mean, we have our introverts who probably are like,
real happy. They are super happy right
now. But again, you know, for them, you know, having books, having Netflix, having, you know, whatever they need to do to entertain themselves. Also, I've been reading the stories about how if you do have somebody that is immune compromised or older or a little bit afraid to head out to the store, you know, to be in public.
For them.
Yeah, why not? If you're willing to go to the store, why not just kind of put out a message and be like, hey, you know, anybody who needs anything, let me know. I'm going to go make a trip.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just so easy for us so far. I mean, who knows what it's going to look like?
We don't know what it's going to look like.
It could be that they just have you pick things up. I mean, I don't know what it's going to look like. It's going to be very interesting.
Well, I mean, here's my thought too. Like, you know, because one of the things my daughters asked were, well, what happens if the grocery store closes? And I'm like, you know, I don't imagine they will. But if they did, I think that it would go, before it would just flat out close, it would go to
rationing.
Oh, no, I was going to say the curbside. Everything
curbside.
Yeah, everything delivery.
Yeah,
you know, curbside. I agree. Yeah. Amazon's always around too.
Yeah. I know.
And I think that the most important thing is, in addition to reaching out to each other, finding ways to maintain some kind of social connection, we need to be patient with each other.
It's hard.
There's a lot of people who are very frightened.
Yeah, that's true.
And everybody's world's changing.
Everybody's
world is changing.
And try very hard not to judge people for their decisions, because you don't have a clue. They may have an autoimmune, they may have somebody at home that has one.
Yeah.
So because it seems silly that they're taking a certain precaution, you don't know why they're taking it.
Exactly. But on the other side too, just because somebody's not taking a precaution doesn't mean that they're being flippant and reckless and, you know, are targeting your health because you do have to take a precaution.
Yeah.
I mean, in some cases,
obviously.
Obviously, like it would be very disrespectful, irresponsible, whatever, to have the sniffles or have a cough or have a fever
and deliberately go
and be like, well, I'm not going to let it stop me.
Right.
There's a couple of things that are happening in the world that I find really, really interesting. I have a part-time job, right? Mm-hmm. And, you know, it's exercising, right? And the YMCA just came out with that if anybody in my family, if me or anybody in my family tests positive, they'll pay me for 2 weeks.
They'll pay you for 2 weeks.
As a part-time job, they'll pay me my normal hours for 2 weeks.
That's very cool.
And I think that's very smart. I mean, for a couple of reasons. One, you know, you like when companies take care of them.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I'm getting all the emails from all the places that I shop and the restaurants and this and that, saying that they're going to take care of their employees.
Yeah.
And for two reasons. One, it's the right thing to do. But also, then that employee isn't tempted to go in
Sick.
and spread it.
Yeah.
So then I do feel a little better, like, you know.
Yeah, it's true. It is true. The universities have made decisions based on that too.
Yeah.
I mean, they know kids will keep going and keep going sometimes if
Yeah.
they're very dedicated or they're in their last year or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
So they put a stop to it. They just won't. They're going to do the online classes so the kids don't have to make the decision.
Right. And just like in anything else, we can focus on the fear.
Mm-hmm.
We can focus on the political stories of either aisle. We can focus on everything being taken away from us. Or again, we can choose to reach out to each other. We can choose to read the uplifting stories. You know, you and I were just talking about the stories out of Italy.
Yeah, where they're literally out on their banisters singing to each other
Mm-hmm.
because they're in quarantine
Yeah.
and they can't leave their apartments. I mean, that's America. We'll be there too. Like if
Yeah.
we get there,
Yeah.
that's how we are too.
Absolutely,
Like people
yes.
actually, when we forget all the political stuff, we all genuinely usually
Show our
care.
better side.
Yeah, we do. The one thing that's already made an impact to me that was almost immediate on Friday, I did not realize, because I work at not overdoing my schedule. We talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
I have margin in my schedule. I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, every single thing I was supposed to do for the next 2 weeks besides work
Yeah.
was canceled.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I literally just felt this, like, I started to breathe different. Like, I just felt relaxed.
Mm-hmm.
Last night, my daughter and I just had, laughed and just really did nothing.
Yeah.
But it was like a relief. And it just reminds you, if we do get pulled into our houses for a couple weeks, like, I have a feeling it'll bring us back to reconnecting and doing some things maybe we haven't done in a while. I mean, we haven't because our kids are at school and stuff.
Right.
But, I mean, I think it's a good reminder to people of, like, what's super important. It's usually family and relationships.
So again, you're watching Get More Happy. We now have a YouTube channel. You might be watching us on YouTube. I don't know. We have a website, getmorehappy.com. We are on Instagram. We're on Facebook.
Yes.
So like us, subscribe, comment.
Please comment.
Yeah, we like when people comment. I don't have anything else. You
That's
have
it.
anything else? All right, thanks. Bye.
Thanks.